Alright, what's good everyone? As you can see from the video title, we're going to talk about the OnePlus Open versus the Z Fold 5 and which one you should buy. So let's get into it. So I made a couple videos on the Z Fold 5 and the OnePlus Open, and even some videos comparing the two in different ways. You can go check those out. I got a playlist with all that stuff. But in this video, I want to focus more on like my definitive thoughts. A lot of people have been asking me, which one they should buy, which one I prefer and all that stuff. So here I'm going to lay it down. Personally, pound for pound, I think the Z Fold 5 is just the best foldable phone on the market in terms of what it has to offer. When we're talking about features, software, optimization, even like little details and different things, Z Fold 5 just has the most fully fleshed out software compared to any other foldable phone on the market. We're talking about different home screen layouts for each screen. So you can have, one layout on your cover display and then a different layout on your inner display because you use both of those displays differently. You have the S Pen, you have, Expert RAW for the camera to go super in depth with photography if you need to. You have mic support for the camera app, for the voice recorder app. You have one of the best experience plugging in SSDs and plugging in microphones, plugging in USB-C accessories. These things just work really well on Samsung devices. And it's not something that people talk about enough versus other devices where I've had many issues connecting, simple things like an SSD, just not being able to read it and stuff like that. The Z Fold 5 just works well. You have Samsung DeX, you plug this phone into a screen, it becomes a computer-like interface. Water resistance, like IPX8. So you can dunk this phone underwater for a good amount of time and the phone will be fine. I can go on and on about the features of the Z Fold 5 and, keep talking about how good it is and different things like that, but I don't need to do that. All you need to know is that with the Z Fold 5, pound for pound, you're getting a lot more than the OnePlus Open, and to me that makes it worth it. And I personally don't think the outside screen being narrow is a huge deal. For me, it's not even a problem. I can use it fine. I can type with both hands, and the one-hand ability is just superior than the OnePlus Open. So for me, the biggest thing I've seen people say with the Z Fold 5 and why the OnePlus Open is better is just a narrow display. And then also, people like to say that basically Samsung copy and pasted their Fold 4 design, even the Fold 3 design. This is very true. They didn't change much from the Fold 4 to the Fold 5. But if we're talking on a fair playing field, we're talking about the Z Fold 5 versus the OnePlus Open. What the Fold 4 and the Fold 3 were like, it does not matter at all. This is two different phones going head to head. So Z Fold 5 versus the OnePlus Open. It's not Z Fold 5 and what it should have been or what it used to be in the Fold 2 and the 3, how much it changed. It's not that. It's the Z Fold 5 versus OnePlus Open. So if we're being fair, there's no reason to mention the previous Samsung products. I do agree that they should have, did a little bit more. But at the same time, the Z Fold 5 is a really good phone. And like I said, I think it's the best foldable phone on the market right now, despite not changing much from the previous model. And that point doesn't even matter. To me, the only things that hold the Z Fold 5 back from being I don't say this often, but a damn near perfect phone are the battery life. Better battery life would be greatly appreciated for this phone because it's such a powerhouse device. You use it for intensive things. And then the cameras. Listen, the cameras to me are really good. These are flagship level cameras. They're not as good as the S23 Ultra. They're not as good as the 15 Pro Max. And that's quote unquote because it all comes down to preference at the end of the day. Some people might prefer the photos from the Z Fold 5 over other devices. And I might sound crazy saying that, but I've seen it. I've seen people say, oh, my Fold takes better pictures than my Pro Max or better than my Pixel. So I've seen those things. I'm not saying that I agree with that. I think the Fold 5's cameras are great, but I don't think they're better than the flagships, like the Pro Maxes and the Ultras. But these are great cameras and they're sufficient enough for so many different use cases, like content creation, like taking legit professional photos, just because of all the things you can do. Expert RAW is a serious app when it comes to photography. So if you want to get serious and go crazy, Samsung has you covered on a software level in terms of, what you can do in the apps. But yeah, so other than that, bro, in my opinion, this phone is, like I said, damn near perfect. There's not really much you need to change with this device. It's just such a good device, in my opinion. But this is all my opinion, right? So please don't attack me. Don't say I'm this and that. I'm not a fanboy of any company. I don't care what these companies are doing. If they do something bad, I will call them out. We need a charger in the box. We need cases in the box. OnePlus is doing a good job in that regard. So I'm not a fanboy to any company. I'm not loyal to any company. I'm just sharing how I feel about what the products are like and the products that we have available on the market. But anyway, so I talked a lot about the Z Fold 5. What do I think the OnePlus Open has going for it? I think the OnePlus Open has a clean, smooth software experience. The OS looks really good. I like the animations better on the OnePlus Open on Oxygen OS. It just looks so much cleaner and smoother to me. In terms of animation, like actual smoothness, both of the phones are peak performance. There's not really any issues or stuttering. The OnePlus Open also has a dedicated gaming mode, better heat performance, so you can, play games at peak performance for a longer time, at least in my experience. The OnePlus Open has slightly bigger inner display, so, things can display a little bit bigger, but even that is negligible. And another thing that is beneficial to the OnePlus Open is the fact that you get 16 gigs of RAM and you get 512 gigs of storage for the price of the base model Z Fold 5, which is 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. And then in addition, you get the case and the charger in box, 65-watt charger to charge really fast. So OnePlus Open has a lot of things going for it. It has really good cameras. It has good software. It just doesn't have as much as the Z Fold 5. I think it's multitasking. I wouldn't say either version of multitasking is superior, like the canvas mode versus the traditional triple split screen multitasking and floating windows on the Z Fold 5. I think both of them are really good versions of multitasking. But Samsung's, you can go a little bit deeper in it. And I know this is very niche. Not all people are like this, like me and other people who use these things to the limit. But on the Z Fold 5, I can open as many apps in floating windows as I want to. And with the triple split screen, I can resize them to almost any shape that I want. So I can literally go crazy with my layouts. And you might think it's a gimmick. You might think, what's the purpose of it? It doesn't even matter, who wants to use the app in a small screen. But trust me, for me, this is very beneficial and helpful. Not every app needs to be huge and a big surface area that you need to interact with all the time. Some apps can be so small where you just need to press a button occasionally on the app. So the argument that who would want to do this is no, in my opinion, because just because you don't use this doesn't mean that it's not a valuable feature for some people, and it doesn't make it a gimmick. But yeah, the canvas mode on the OnePlus Open is cool, really good. The only thing I would like different about the canvas mode is just more freedom, more flexibility with it, and the ability to enable a normal triple split screen like you have on the Z Fold 5. That's it. If they do that, add in more points for resizing the apps and stuff like that with the canvas mode, then I think it's good. I think it might even be better than multitasking on the Z Fold 5 because you have canvas mode and you have what Samsung is doing with their flexibility in terms of the triple split screen. And then I would also like to have more than one app in floating window on the OnePlus Open and the ability to resize floating window to any aspect ratio. I don't want it to be locked. This can be helpful, so I think having a toggle to switch between the two modes would be nice. But basically, what I'm saying is that the OnePlus Open is a great foldable phone, but it's still the first of its kind. It technically is the third folding phone by Apple, the sister company to OnePlus. But at the same time, this is the first for this market, the North American market. This is the first for this form factor of folding phones. They made smaller form factor folding phones before this with the N1 and the N2. So, it's still kind of a baby. Samsung is literally the company that started this foldable phone thing in the first place. I know there were some smaller companies that launched foldable phones before Samsung did, but Samsung is really the one that started this race with the first one and then the Z Fold 2. And then you really start to see foldable phones pop out after the Z Fold 2. So Samsung has experience. Most of these folding phones use Samsung screens, and Samsung has been a leader in terms of customization, multitasking, and software features for a very long time. So it's not a knock on the OnePlus to say that the Z Fold 5 has great software, great customization, and all that stuff. It's really just a challenge. OnePlus made a great device hardware-wise, but on a software level, they can push it a little bit more. I don't think where it's at is bad. I think if you get either one of these devices, you'll be happy, you'll be fine. But literally, the Z Fold 5 can just do more. And that, for me, puts it a tier above every other foldable phone. At the end of the day, you choose what you want. For me, the Z Fold 5 is the choice. The OnePlus Open, for me, there's very few reasons why I would recommend the OnePlus Open to somebody over the Fold 5. The outer display, I know a lot of people talk about the Z Fold 5's outer display being very small. So if you would like a more normal phone experience on the outside screen, then yeah, go for the OnePlus Open because you're going to be interacting with that on a daily basis, and that can be annoying if you don't like interacting with the screen or if it causes your hands to cramp, whatever it is, right? People make fun of me for saying that the OnePlus Open made my hands cramp because of the camera and the ergonomics and stuff like that, the off-balanceness. But at the same time, for those people who don't like using the narrow screen, why don't you like using the narrow screen? Isn't it because the Z Fold 5 makes your hand cramp and stuff like that? It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. It's just funny. And then if you're somebody who cares about gaming, I would recommend OnePlus Open. If you are somebody who wants the cheapest deal, I'd recommend the OnePlus Open. If you want the case and the charger in the box, recommend the OnePlus Open. Or you're somebody who doesn't care too much about customization and all the software features and all that stuff that I was saying. If you're somebody who's an entry level person to like foldable phones, maybe I'd recommend the OnePlus Open because it's a more simpler, more easier experience, more user friendly, Apple like approach in terms of like giving you features, but kind of like slightly limiting you and telling you how you should use it. And I feel like some people, they actually enjoy that and they would rather have a device like that instead of a device that kind of gives you complete control, all the options, all the customization, but like not really giving you a hand on how to do all that stuff. I guess that's one area that Samsung can improve in, just making more tutorials and making the device more user friendly, showing all these different options and allowing more people to access them and understand them without having to dive deep and like go on Reddit, go on YouTube and figure out all these features. So yeah, that's something that Samsung can improve on for sure. To quickly recap before I end this, my personal choice is the Z Fold 5 because pound for pound, it is the best foldable in my opinion because of all that it has to offer when you think about everything as a whole. But I wouldn't get mad at somebody for saying they prefer the OnePlus Open. I think the OnePlus Open is a great device. It's cool. Also, before I end the video, I just remembered, if you have a Z Fold 5 right now and you're okay with it and the outside screen doesn't really bother you that much, in my opinion, there's no point of switching to the OnePlus Open because, like I said, you get less features and stuff like that. You might as well just wait for the Z Fold 6 and the OnePlus Open 2 next year because I guarantee you, even though I like the narrow screen and it's comfortable for one-hand usage, I guarantee you Samsung is gonna probably make a move and try to jump onto this bigger form factor because it's the popular opinion, the popular narrative, and they might do some bigger changes. So wait for the Z Fold 6 if you have the Z Fold 5, and if you have the Z Fold 4 and you're thinking about upgrading between the two, go for whichever one looks the most enticing to you because like I said, they're both great devices. You might have an easier time using the Samsung device because you're used to that software, but at the same time, you might enjoy having a new experience. So you can go either way if you have the Z Fold 4. But if you have the Fold 5, like just wait. If you're okay with the device and you don't mind the outer display, there's no point in changing to the OnePlus Open in my opinion. You're just kind of using more money when you don't have to. If you're somebody who's looking to get their first foldable phone, I'll give you two answers. If you have experience with Samsung devices or you main a Samsung device right now, go for the Fold 5. And if you don't mind the outer display, go for the Fold 5 because you're used to that kind of experience, the software, and it's just better overall in my opinion for all the features you get. But if you're somebody who doesn't have a Samsung device, doesn't do too much customization and all that stuff, you just want a good big folding phone, a good content consumption experience, a good experience overall without thinking too much about, you know, all these technical things or whatever, then get the OnePlus Open. I think the OnePlus Open will be great for you if you don't care too much about like all the features, all the things. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you on deciding which one you like better, which one you want to buy, and hopefully my perspective is more clear to some people. I know a lot of people are probably going to get mad, but it is what it is. We all have opinions and I respect your opinion. Hopefully you respect mine. It's all love at the end of the day. And I'm excited to see what these companies do next year in the foldable space, especially in Canada. We need some tech love out here, bro. We need better devices. We need better prices for sure. Cause the Canadians, we're paying a lot for these tech products, bro. It's actually crazy out here. Like it's not even like a one-to-one conversion when you talk about from the US price to the Canadian price. Like we're paying a little bit more. So we need these prices to go down, bro. I need people out here to start buying foldable phones so that it can be more common out here in Canada. But anyways, I'm going off. If you listen to all of this, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. And yeah, more videos on the way. Let me know if you like this kind of rant or podcasty style of video. But yeah, until the next video, we are out. Peace.